Hey everybody, my name is Luke Sloterdijk and welcome to Cyclones Abroad, a vlog that aims to provide valuable and timely information about Iowa State study abroad opportunities to underclassmen, primarily people who haven't spent much time yet at Iowa State and who have a lot of time left in their Iowa State career. So if just a quick recap from last week, if you weren't able to join us last week, we talked a lot about how my current virtual study abroad experience is going as a Gilman Scholar, and talking about experiencing burnout and what to do when you really just don't want to continue, or things are getting really difficult, or the time commitments are too large, or whatever that might look like. Talking through how to kind of deal with that, how to push through it, and how to get a lot of growth out of those opportunities as well, because even moments like that can be really good to experience, to be able to grow. And we also talked about the importance of reflecting during a study abroad experience to be able to get the most out of it in the moment, and also later, to be able to look back and to be able to talk about those experiences in job interviews and with friends and things like that. And then finally, the last thing that we talked about last week also was how to be a competitive Gilman Scholarship applicant. So if any of those things kind of spark your interest, please go back to week 4's video of Cyclones Abroad and make sure to check that out. But this week, we're actually going to talk about how to get the most out of your study abroad experience. And we're going to have a discussion on cultural competency, addressing homesickness, and some of the other things that come along with deciding to move to a different country for a season of life to learn and experience what international education is like. As we enter into this, the first thing that we'll talk about is just knowing where you're going. And so I can't reiterate this enough. I think the importance of actually investing time, energy, and maybe even a little money to actually understand the country that you're going to, the people that you'll be interacting with, the history of that country, the culture of that country, all those types of things is so key, because you'll be able to get the most out of your experience once you're there. And it will probably save you a lot of heartache uh, when you're there too, because if you don't know what's going on, why at noon everybody does this, or why from 1 to 3 p.m. people go home and eat, or like whatever that might look like for the cultural realities in that place, like it will definitely pay off in the long run to know. And it's just fun and exciting. And I would assume that if you're interested in studying abroad, that you would find that stuff interesting too. So whether that means buying a book or talking with people who have lived there before, or who are from that country that you're going to, just try and reach out and find these different resources of studying the demography of that country, the history of that country, the culture of that country, the food, the language, all of those sorts of things, just so that once you're there, you at least have a somewhat of a background in the area that you're going to. And it also is really good for the people that you're trying to build relationships with once you're there, to show that you've already put in a lot of time and effort to want to get to know them, to build deep relationships with them, because that's one of the most important outcomes of a study abroad experiences, is the relationships that you build. Know your resources for when you're going to be there. And what I mean by that is knowing where the nearest U.S. embassy is in case of an emergency, whether you lose your passport, or need to get on an expatriation flight as soon as possible, or even just to have information about the country. The U.S. embassy can sometimes be the best place to get up-to-date information, even to the hour. Another resource is your supervisor, right? So whatever study abroad experience, whether it's a work service trip, or you're taking classes, or whatever that international experience might be, just know that you have your supervisor or your professor or your academic advisor, or whatever that might look like, in country with you, who's actually, it's their job to be there and fight for you, and help you understand things. Your family is a huge one too. Make sure that you're reaching out to your family and to your friends on a regular basis. Hopefully you have some sort of access to Wi-Fi to be able to do that. And finally, also your study abroad advisor back at Iowa State University. That's their job, is to make sure that you're staying safe, that you're getting the most out of your experience, and that if you have any questions, that they should be there to answer them. And they're really good at that. Then the final thing that I'll say is to address homesickness. I really think that, I mean, this is a very obvious answer, but frequently talk with your friends and family back home. And on top of that, reach out and try and make new relationships in the country that you're in, because you're probably only going to be there for up to maybe 6 months. So like really embrace the opportunity to come out of your shell and get to meet new people. I know for me in the past, in different experiences, the one thing that I've always regretted, even just with domestic internships, is not digging deep in the community that you're in for whatever period of time that you are there. It's so important just to build these relationships, and to get excited about professional networking, but also social relationships. And it actually will improve your work ethic and your abilities when you're actually on the job, clocking in to do those things as well, because you're just going to be a more motivated person. We're all social creatures, and we need those relationships to continue to make life fun for us as well. Um, and then the final thing, if you're experiencing burnout or homesickness or any challenging experience while you're out of country, just remember why you decided to sign up for study abroad in the first place. Think about that thing that is the motivation or the driver or the catalyst for why you chose to do this experience, and remind yourself of that over and over again of like, I know I'm going through this hard time, but this is why I'm here. And that goes into the reflection that I talked about last week. But just continue to practice that mature idea of processing through your emotions and processing through what you're feeling and processing through what growth could happen in whatever experience or situation that you're facing. So thank you guys so much for listening today. I hope that some of this could be helpful resources to you. And like I said, be sure to check out the videos before this week if you haven't been up to date with the vlog. And I hope to see you guys next week for week 6 of Cyclones Abroad. But for today, this was week 5. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week.